Hello, YouTube divers. This is Water 122, and I want to welcome you all to another episode of the podcast for high school sports all across Western North Carolina. Holy jeez, last week was a very wild week for high school sports, and we're going to be getting into mostly everything that's brought up here. And again, it's mostly Brevard stuff. So in this episode, we're going to be going over Brevard's So volleyball-wise, we're going over Brevard's big win over R.S. Central, as well as their heartbreaking loss to A.C. And football-wise, we're going to go over Brevard's dominant victory over the East Henderson Eagles, 42-0. And we are also going to be stepping outside of Brevard for a little bit, talking about the A.C Reynolds Rockets, whose nearly 7-year conference winning streak comes to an end at the hands of the Asheville Cougars. All that is going to be coming up here on this episode. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, everything was off to a phenomenal start last week for Brevard volleyball. Brevard had just upset the perennial state title contenders in volleyball, the West Henderson Falcons, 3-1. Unfortunately, I was not at that game, so I couldn't really provide you guys with any details there. And Brevard followed that up with a 3-1 win over the R.S. Central Hilltoppers. Things got off to an ugly start for the Lady Devils, but thankfully they were able to bounce back in the second, third, and fourth sets respectively to get the win. So, I can definitely be proud of them there. And going into their third straight game of the week, all of them were home games. I'm taking on the Asheville Christian Academy Lions, who were coming into the game at 14-3. They were ranked in the top 25 in the state, and they were like second in the NCISAA 3A division or something like that. And Brevard jumped out to a 2-0 lead, but the Lions sadly rebounded, going into several shootouts and winning the game 3-2. Making that the first time I have ever seen our volleyball team lose at home. So, yeah, that was definitely a tough one to swallow, but thankfully, Brevard. But this was a very tough Asheville Christian Academy team that the Blue Devils went up against, so not really that much backlash there. And plus, in the rankings, Brevard actually moved up despite losing to ACA. They were previously 8th in 2A West, and now they're 4th. And I highly believe that is because we played a very tough team like ACA down to the wire. And honestly, in my opinion, if the student section was a little bit more motivated to cheer on our team, chances are we would have likely won the game. But, it is what it is, I guess. So yeah, this was a crazy week for Brevard volleyball. Tomorrow, the Blue Devils will be hosting the Chase Trojans. I might go to that game depending on how bad the weather is, because I did hear there's going to be a significant amount of thunderstorms tomorrow. So, I don't really know if I'm going to be able to make it to that game. We'll just see what Mother Nature implies on us at the moment, so yeah. Now, football-wise, let's talk about Brevard's big 42-0 win against the East Henderson Eagles. So coming into the game against East Henderson, Brevard was 1-3. They had lost 3 straight, each to really, really good teams, in my opinion, to the Asheville Cougars, to the Irwin Warriors, and then just recently to the R.S. Central Hilltoppers. And even though R.S. Central is they're 1-4 because they got hammered by Polk this past week. But even though R.S. Central's 1-4, I highly believe that they are a competitive team. They have a D1 running back in Xavier Toms. Chances are, from what I've heard, he's committed to NC State, so a big shout out for him. Ken Hines is also looking really efficient on the ground. Quarterback Jaden Costin is also making some great plays here and there. And, I highly believe that behind the Chase Trojans, the R.S. Central Hilltoppers are the second best public school in Rutherford County. Maybe even the second best school in Rutherford County. Because Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy is having like a down year, I guess, this year. They're not really looking that good. Now, when it comes to Brevard, they were going into the game, as I've said, they were going into the game 1-3. Things were, at this point, it was just a win or done game for the Blue Devils. But the Blue Devils, I can tell, they were hungry to get a win. And boy, oh boy, did they ever need this win. Because next week we take on the Chase Trojans. And they have a running back named Marquise McCombs. And he is the nation's, that's right, the nation's third leading rusher. And that is a scary prospect. Now, yes, I do know that the Chase Trojans did get clobbered by the Hendersonville Bearcats. Shout out to the Hendersonville Bearcats for absolutely demolishing an amazing team like the Chase Trojans. But, yeah, I really believe that Chase will make a deep run in the playoffs. And if that is the case, it'll be thanks to their amazing offensive line and, of course, Marquise McCombs, their stingy defense, and also with the production of quarterback Damian Boykins. Now, when it comes to Brevard, as I've said, Joe Powell has looked efficient through the season. I mean, from what I've seen, he's done decent this year. He made a few eye-popping plays here and there, but he also made like a few eye rollers here and there, a couple of moaner groaners, if you call them. Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that he's made plenty of good plays throughout his career and plenty of forgettable plays throughout his career. But coming into the game against East Henderson, Brevard simply needed to win this game. And plus, it was in front of our home fans who all year Brevard has been consistently up in home attendance, and it's just so nice to see this community come together again. And honestly, it's our stands this season has been the most packed I have ever seen our stadium, and I've been to a lot of Brevard football games, home or away. But this was simply a must-win for Brevard, and they absolutely delivered. Yeah, it did take them a while to get on the board. I mean, the first quarter, Joe Powell hit Kyle Lovett for a long receiving touchdown. Lovett is now up to 4 touchdown receptions on the year. He had 2 against RS Central, and he had 1 against East Henderson. That's his second week in a row with at least 1 touchdown reception. Garrett Swicegood was also very efficient on the ground. Unfortunately, I don't have any stats as of right now, but all of our running back, 3 of our running backs that are Garrett Swicegood, Caleb Jenkins, and Nashawn Griffin, all of them looked very efficient against the East Henderson Eagles, with the latter two, with Jenkins and Griffin scoring their very first touchdowns of the year. It was honestly a beautiful sight to see. And then, of course, you had the return of Nathan Stockton, the little dasher. In my opinion, he's probably the smallest player that we have on this team. I'm not gonna guess his height because I don't want to get that wrong. But yeah, he is very, 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 very quick, and he's just an amazing running back. He would have been playing earlier in the season had he not torn his ACL in week 1 of the spring season against Mountain Heritage. But this was his return back to running back. He did not start tonight, but he did play in like garbage time, and he even scored a touchdown, which made the moment even more sweeter for Brevard fans alike. And I honestly was just happy to see Nathan Stockton back on the field. And with the performance he had against East Henderson, I definitely feel like that he is back to his old self again. But again, we'll see how he will do against a very, very tough Chase Trojans defense next week. on Friday night. So with that said, Brevard absolutely deserved this win. They won 42-0, as I've already said. The rushing game was very, very, very effective tonight. On Friday night, rather. It was just a great night for Brevard and a huge win for them as they prepare to take on Chase. So, yeah. And now, we're stepping outside of Brevard for more football news. For the first time since 2014, in 48 straight games, the A.C Reynolds Rockets have lost a conference game. Has lost a conference game. They took a 6-5 loss at the hands of their arch rivals, the Asheville Cougars, on the road. And my oh my, did this loss sting the Rockets. Usually the Rockets own the Cougars. The last time A.C. Reynolds lost a conference game, that was back in 2014, which I believe went to the hands of the Irwin Warriors, although I could be wrong. But this has been a very rocky start for the Rockets. No pun intended. And this loss basically just summed it up very, 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 very efficiently. Now, this was the same Asheville Cougars team that beat Brevard and got smoked by Robbinsville. And for the Cougars to pull off their fourth straight win against a A.C. Reynolds Rockets team that has consistently beaten them over these past 7 seasons is just impressive. I cannot give any more shout-outs to the Cougars than I already am right now. They absolutely deserve this win. And for the Rockets, well, this is a tough loss. Rockets fans know it. Everybody in the Western Mountain Athletic 3A/4A conference knows it. It was just such a signature win for the Cougars. And shout out to my friend Jay Avery. He, a former Brevard player, now plays for the Cougars. I don't know exactly how well he did against Reynolds, but, he was on that team. And shout out to Deshaun Whitmire for sealing the game with a game-winning interception. Again, congratulations to Asheville. You all absolutely deserved it. Absolutely deserved it. And with this loss, with this win, the Cougars and A.C. Reynolds' 48 conference game winning streak. I guess that just gives A.C. Reynolds fans more desire to hate the Cougars now. So, yeah, I can't say it enough. Great win for the Cougars, bad loss for the Rockets. And with that said, that concludes this edition of the podcast for high school sports all across Western North Carolina. Thank you so much for watching, my fellow YouTube divers. This is Water 122 signing out, ready to dive into more fun on YouTube. Thanks for watching.